Hi, welcome to my podcast, Becoming a Cut Flower Grower. I'm your host, Lydia, and I'm here to share my year of growing and selling cut flowers. I'll be giving you the lowdown on everything I'm doing and sharing all the highs and lows, the good times and the inevitable disasters, all in real time. Join me on my cut flower journey, starting right now. Hello and welcome to the latest episode. It's Friday the 29th of August. I hope you're well and I hope you've had a good week. And if you're listening in the UK, I hope you've survived the rain. We've had a drought for so long and then we had a massive dollop of rain and it's kind of just sort of smashed everything to pieces and created havoc. So I hope it hasn't been too damaging for you. So I'm recording this at home this evening. I had said in the last episode that I might record something at the flower festival, which I've just got back from, but it just wasn't going to be appropriate to do that. So I thought I'll wait till I get back and then the audio will be of a reasonable standard anyway. So great news, my electrics have been fixed. I put my big girl pants on and got some help with that, and it turned out to be like the simplest thing. So I made out it was like super complicated and I needed someone to help me and there was going to be all this toing and froing, and in the end all I did was unplug one of my extension cables, and it turned out that one of my lamps, when I had done some vacuuming, I'd put the lamp back on top of the cable and crushed it, and it was clearly just shorting out. So I actually didn't have to do anything. I just moved a lamp and then fixed it. So that is all sorted. So all the lamps are back on and normal service has been resumed. So I was listening back to the last episode, which I do just to remind myself what I've said. And I was talking about how excited I was to visit, how excited I am to go and visit the United States. But I didn't say why. And that's because I want to go and see as many cut flower farms as I can possibly fit in. And I realize the States is massive and it will need some strategic planning for that. But I just said how excited I was, having just spoken about enormous policemen with guns. And I thought, I didn't make a very good explanation of that one. So I just wanted to clear that up. It's not because I want to go and see enormous policemen with guns. It's because I want to come and see what the United States has got going on, and all your flowers and everything looks fantastic. So we've had a pretty crazy week of weather, actually. I'd forgotten really what it was like just to have rain and how amazing, but also how incredibly inconvenient it can be. And we didn't just have rain, we had like really heavy rain. So these showers that blow over and just come out of nowhere. And it's a proper deluge, like just standing under a hose pipe. So it's created havoc with the normal gardening job. It's created havoc on the plot. And we've also had some very high gusty winds as well. So it's been quite a lot. I managed to, well, I didn't, but the one of the water bowsers collected 300 litres last night, which is brilliant. Someone said to me, "Oh, have you filled all the bowsers up?" And I said, "No, we would need a typhoon to fill up 3,000 litres worth of water. But 300 litres is better than nothing. It's a good start. And I think we're having more rain tomorrow as well." So that was great. But it has been quite a stressful week, as you know, if you listen to the last episode or even the last couple, I've been prepping for this flower festival that I was supplying. And I was quite nervous about it because I was asked to go as well to the festival. You could get tickets and go. And normally I just hand over my flowers to my wedding florist. She takes them off site and I never see them again. I just see the pictures. And this time, of course, by going to the actual festival, it would mean, meeting the organizer, and I hadn't met her yet at all. And also seeing the flowers. And I thought, gosh, if anything's gone wrong or any of them have just fallen to pieces or whatever, it could be a bit strange. So I was really, really stressing about it actually. And especially, with the rain and then the high winds. And it was my largest order ever. And the flowers were getting collected on Thursday morning, first thing. Then they were going to be conditioned all day Thursday and then arranged on Friday, ready for the preview night, which was tonight. So we didn't have any rain on Wednesday night, which was great, but we'd had a lot of rain during the day. and everything just got soaked. So I'm going to have to canvass some of my fellow local growers and ask them what they do in those situations, because it was pretty depressing to go up on the plot first thing on Thursday morning. Now, bearing in mind that we hadn't had any rain Wednesday night, but I opened the door first thing on Thursday morning. I got up at 6 and I didn't even really sleep either on Wednesday night. My brain was just whirring with all of these things. And I thought it's going to take me quite a while to do the cutting. So I got up at 6, opened the door, and there's just this thick mist everywhere. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, the stems have not even had the chance to dry out on Wednesday night. So it was, yeah, not ideal circumstances. And I was concerned about the quality of some of the flowers. And I did not supply, like, there are a few things that I just cut down the numbers or up the numbers on other things, because I mean, I was, on the one hand, I was trying to remember, I was trying to say to myself, look, it's not a country house hotel, it's not a wedding, it's not what you normally supply for, and therefore it's not, do you know what I mean? It's basically not going to be that sort of pristine, immaculate wedding venue thing where the flowers have to look like amazing. But on the other hand, everything still needs to be beautiful. And I don't want to supply anything that looks bad, because my name is going to be in the brochure, in the program. It's gone off to the local paper and all this kind of thing. And I don't want people to turn up and say, oh my goodness, the quality of that is terrible. Or for the organizer to think, oh, that was a mistake to ask Lydia to do that, because clearly her flowers aren't up to scratch. So I was really agonizing over the individual petals on all of the stems I was cutting, and thinking, oh, I'll leave that one out, or I'll take that one off, or I'll this, that, and the other, because I wanted them to be perfect. But in the end, it just wasn't practical, because the volume that I was cutting was quite big, and collectively everything looked fabulous. And I think I was just being a little bit too fussy. I mean, this is one of the flip sides that I'm learning about growing British flowers, is when you throw in adverse weather conditions, there is an impact, unless you're growing in a tunnel or you're growing so much volume, I guess, that you can afford to have some loss or some damages, some wastage, as I'm not growing on that stage yet. So for me, kind of everything that's on the plot needs to be perfect. So anyway, I got everything out, and a lovely lady came to pick everything up, and one of the dahlias shattered just as we were putting it into the back of her car. And it was one that looked absolutely perfect. There was no indication at all it was going to do that. And we just lifted it in, and it just literally collapsed into a million pieces. So I went and cut another one, but I was just thinking, oh my goodness, like, the timing of this, we've had a drought for so long. And funnily enough, I thought the drought was quite difficult to manage, but I think rain is actually worse. So I've also been doing, so I'll come back and tell you what the festival's like at the end. I've been prepping for the next 4 weddings that I've got with my wedding florist, and quite honestly, I really don't have that much that's right. So the the flowers that the florist would like to use are ones that I don't really have, and a lot of what I've got now is just really just had enough, really, I think. So I'm not actually going to be able to do as much as I would have liked to, but I think I think it's not the end of the world. I think my brain is kind of switching on to next year already. And so there'll be some bits and pieces, but they're just not going to be enormous orders. And do you know, that's fine with me. One of them is actually on the 13th of September, which is 2 weeks away. And quoting for that one is a little bit tricky, because I just don't know what the weather's going to do now. If it's going to be changeable, if we're going to have a lot of rain or sunshine or what. And I also need to look up those bud development timings for the dahlias to work out how many days it's going to be from when the bud is a certain size to when it's going to be an open flower ready to cut, so that I can sort of second guess what I might have ready. But I will have to liaise with the florist on that one. And I've been working my way through Lennie Larkin's incredible book, Flower Farming for Profit. So this is one of two books that I bought a week or so ago. I bought Lisa Mason Ziegler's book, The Cut Flower Handbook, as well. But Lennie Larkin, which is amazing, by the way, I love it. I've been reading that in bed as well. But Lennie Larkin's book is very much on the business end of things, which is where I feel I've been struggling more on than actually growing. Although, let's be honest, that's been a struggle as well. And I have been laughing at some of the things that Lennie writes in the book, because she also, I follow her on Instagram and I've watched some of her YouTube videos, and she writes the same way that she talks, which is really refreshing. Like, you can actually hear her in the pages coming out. And so many of the things that she says that new growers do, I have done them and I am still doing them. And I have to catch myself and say, like, Lydia, stop doing that. Like, just stop, because it's not the right thing to be doing. So I've just signed up for one of her free mini workshops as well. So I'm looking forward to doing that. So let me tell you all about the Flower Festival, which was absolutely lovely. So nice. It was a festival to celebrate locally grown flowers, with music, nibbles, and there was wine. And all the flowers were arranged by locally based florists, students, and flower club members. And there were 18 displays all around the church, one of which was a huge 360-degree one. I think it was in the font, actually. So it ranged from really, really big ones to tiny little displays in these incredible bud vases that look like teardrops. They're absolutely beautiful. I need to work out where they were from. So I must say, I went around photographing everything and spotting all of my flowers. And I suspect that most of the heleniums and the cornflowers ended up in the bin, because I didn't see very many of those. But the dahlias looked absolutely incredible. I'm not blowing my own, I'm blowing my own trumpet here, but they looked incredible. Like these enormous fimbriated dahlias where all the petals kind of twist a little bit. And they're just really big and blousy and over the top, and they stand out a mile. And much as I love the balls and the pom-poms, and I really do, and I'm going to grow them next year, I love them, they sort of have this sort of uniformity of shape, which probably makes them a fantastic cut flowers. Whereas the fim dahlias, the fimbriateds, are just wild, like just wild colours, and the intensity and just the craziness of them. So there were a couple of displays with them in, and one in particular was just absolutely stunning. And it kind of makes me sort of smile and just like cry a little tiny bit when I saw them, because I just thought, wow, this is epic. And to see them in a display and to see other people going around enjoying them was just amazing for me. The other things that looked nice were the snaps and the scabious, the zinnias, and the rudbeckias as well look good. So that was really amazing, and I'm chuffed to bits about that, I have to say. It is incredible to see them in real life, and I don't normally get the opportunity to do that. And yeah, it was lovely. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that. So listen, I think that is me for the day. I'm going to get this episode uploaded and then do some pictures, I think, on Instagram of the Flower Festival. So I very much hope that you will come back and join me for the next episode on Tuesday. And in the meantime, I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Take care, have fun, whatever you're doing, and see you next week.